Hello out there. This is FinTech Forum 7 question series. For all who don't know FinTech Forum brings together early stage FinTech startups with investors and business angels and corporate ventures. So I'm very happy that today we have Claudio from NumberX here. And Claudio, a warm welcome to Austria, Germany. And let's start. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, both your work as well as what you're doing in your leisure time.
Thanks much, Frank. Thanks much for having us here. Yeah, actually, I'm Claudio. I'm the founder of NumberX, a new fintech based in Austria, but we really want to head out to conquer Europe. So basically, let me talk about myself a little bit. I have spent, I would say, the last few years totally in fintech. So I always say I speak 3 languages. It's German, English, and fintech. I've started a couple of years ago in the fintech world, beginning of 2011, 2012, which was basically all about mobile payment at that time. So even before Google Pay and Apple Pay launched in the US or even in Europe. So I was working for a mobile payment solution. So you might know it as Blue Code today, which is quite popular in Austria and heading also to Germany soon. But I felt like I have to switch to big corporate because I was studying law. And so I wanted to get into the corporate world, especially into the legal department at Red Bull. And I have to say, I was applying, but they told me this is not the right fit for me because I'm more or less the entrepreneurial guy. So what happened is I was working at Red Bull for the Red Bull Media House, and I was helping to launch Red Bull TV. And after some time, I met the co-founder of my first company, which was Schwab. So Schwab was fintech, also based in Austria, but already 5 years ago. And pretty much the same what N26, Monzo, or Revolut did in the beginning. So account and the card. So we built up that company, but to be honest, we were not so super successful. We had to close the company. And at some point, the opportunity came up to join Revolut. And Revolut at that point was really like not on the map of many. But in the end, as you know, Revolut grew in the last few years to a global fintech company. I was responsible for the DACH market, so Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. So I was doing the market entry and also the initial product and feature launches. And after some time, I decided to get on my own way again. So I started out in the consulting business. I think I've seen a lot of stuff in the last few years on the banking side, payment side, issuing, acquiring, and so on and so forth. And at some point I thought, okay, this is not something that will make me happy. So I have to start again a new company. And there we are. This is NumberX.
What are you doing in your leisure time?
So actually in my leisure time, I would say right now I don't have so much leisure time because I really work on the company. It's a full-time job. So there's not much leisure time. But of course, I'm Austrian, so I like to go hiking, skiing, things like that, and water sports. I think these are my favorite things.
Thanks. And about NumberX, which services do you offer and who are your competitors?
Yeah, so basically, we believe the role of banks will completely change over the next years. So either it's a traditional bank or a challenger bank, all of them will become more or less infrastructure. So what we see as an opportunity, especially in the second wave of fintech, so maybe just to explain, the first fintech wave was more or less becoming a bank, and some of these companies became a bank. So examples like Revolut, N26, or Monzo. And now we do have the second wave, so the second wave of fintechs, and we see 2 major developments. So the first one is we see that subscription-based models are rising, and actually these models are those which work for challenger banks too. And the second one is that we have open banking as a big opportunity across Europe on a global scale, of course, but especially in Europe. So it's called Payment Services Directive. And what we believe is we can build that platform between the old traditional banks and the new financial technologies. It's more like not to switch your bank account to a new challenger bank. It's actually to upgrade your existing bank account with a proposition like NumberX, and that's what we basically do.
How did you get to your business idea?
So I remember I have been in the, let's say, the open banking world a very, very long time. So I was talking about that even before some bankers actually realized what implications it might have in the future. So I remember a meeting in Munich, a very famous company which doesn't exist right now anymore. And I was talking about open banking and payment services directive 2, and I already recognized that there's huge potential. But to be honest, over the past years, it was just too early because it wasn't in place. So open banking is something which works since, I would say, 1 or 2 years on a global or at least European scale. And so I was always thinking of how to leverage that opportunity. Over the years, I saw a lot of business cases, including the neobanks. And so I thought, okay, let's combine the opportunities I can see in open banking with more or less what's working out there on the market. And so I have been working on that, I think, now for at least a couple of years in my brain. And it always takes a lot of, the right moment, the right team and stuff like this. And so last year I found a co-founder, which I actually know since a while. And so we just started off the company and we said, okay, let's try that because that can be a big opportunity in the fintech space. And so I think everything come together over the last few years and months.
How did you finance NumberX?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we financed on our own. So the two founders, so we are two founders. I'm more the operational side and my co-founder is more on the technical side. We invested our own money, and then we were able to quickly raise some money from investors to build more or less the technical and the regulation side of the business. But over the time, some more people joined, and currently we are in a fundraising mode. But we haven't planned to do any fundraising at that stage yet. But because we have launched, or at least pre-launched the product a couple of weeks ago, we do have a lot of interest from investors and partners. And so this is actually how we are planning to go ahead right now.
Any lessons you would like to share from the current fundraising journey for other startups?
Yeah, there are really a lot of lessons, but I believe in the beginning, it's really important to really also want to invest your own money, because that really shows that you believe in it. And then you quickly have to build up your network. The thing is, you have to build up the network way earlier. So over the last years, in my case, I have met so many people from the fintech world, payment world, banking world, whatever. And it's really important to get those people on board, even if they are not investing, but just to get them on board, to let them know about your idea and to brainstorm. And then you can actually really find interesting ways to finance your company. In the beginning, you might have more like business angels, so people who really trust you and they believe that you can build the product. But then after some time, this is changing, of course. And I think that's a big difference between being financed by a business angel and really getting in some venture capital on that in that case. And in regards of venture capital, I think every founder will quickly realize that it's great to get inbound and you don't have to call them. But it's a very long journey to get those investors aligned and on board. So lots of your time will be more or less really focused on fundraising. And this is, I mean, something what I would really advise to every founder: be careful in spending your time in things which might lead you in the wrong direction, because you have to spend your time on the product and to build up the team and the company. And of course, financing is important, but it can also really slow down your entire development process. And that's pretty important to understand.
Thanks for the good insight and the experience shared. I think it's very valuable to understand that that's also part of building up your startup and what are the threats. What's on your book list, if at all, given your let's say your schedule and your daily work?
Yeah, honestly, I try to live a very minimalistic lifestyle. So I don't really own lots of things, and even not printed books or something like this. I mean, regardless of that, I wouldn't have much time to read books right now. But in terms, I'm reading a lot, but there is not really something on my bookshelf at all. But in terms of what kind of content I read, I think it's really driven by yeah, economic topics or even entrepreneurial stuff, more or less. But I cannot even tell you about the specific book at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's reality. But being an Austrian, that's my another favorite question. So, what's your favorite place for a coffee or a drink?
Yes, so actually, I'm living in Salzburg. So there's a pretty amazing place. It's called Hangar 7. If you are in the future, maybe in Salzburg, you should definitely go there. So it's a place where you can find race cars, but also planes, art, and really good food. And that's a pretty amazing place from, I would say, breakfast to the late evening to spend some time. It's actually owned by Red Bull, a company here based in Austria, and it's pretty amazing place. It's very yeah, inspiring to be there.
Claudio, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for sharing, let's say, your experience and your insights so far. And of course, good luck for the future.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Frank.